What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Two Brothers in the Huddle. I'm on the West Coast.
From the East Coast.
Yes, sir. What's up, Big Monster? How was Thanksgiving?
Man, Thanksgiving was filling, a blessing, and satisfaction, baby. How about you?
What'd you cook?
Man, I rotisserie the turkey for the first time. That thing came out. Ooh, that thing was
Finger licking
That
good.
thing was good. And I did a little prime rib roast.
And a little prime rib. Wow. See, I don't know, but Chef Monster be in the kitchen with all kind of tools and fillets and souffles and all kind of chef techniques.
I be whipping it up.
I didn't see any photos. You didn't send me no
pictures.
I
ain't want to photo anything this year, man. I honestly haven't photoed anything on food lately, but I might get back to it. We'll see. How was your Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was good. I played a little bit. We did some dining, some nighttime dining. The best part about it is I did not have to cook, so nor did I have to clean. So
that's always a plus when you ain't got to clean. That's for sure.
Right. Ain't got to cook, ain't got to clean. It was a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, buddy. Maybe I'll do something different one day.
Let's jump into week 12. The Seahawks wrapped up Monday Night Football with a loss to the Washington football team.
Yeah. So how do you feel about Seattle and their chances of making the playoffs now?
Here's the thing. They still have a chance.
I got a message for you, though. Here you go.
Yep.
They ain't got no goddamn chance.
Man, look, they got a chance.
Man, that's over. Three in a row. That means they have to win every game. They have to win every game from here on out.
Yep. No, they didn't do work. I'm just saying mathematically it's still possible. Now, again, the likeliness of it, many people can question that, but it's still possible. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a chance.
Are we using mathematical skills here? Or are we using logic?
Yes.
Logic is more the issue here. You thinking more about numbers. Now we thinking about reality.
Okay.
Reality is it's over.
It's not yet. Okay. Not yet. Now the fat lady just drinking tea. She ain't singing yet. She just drinking a little tea, trying to warm up her vocals, but she ain't singing. So
man, Russ didn't look good last night, man. It was his birthday as well. Come on, you got to ball out on your birthday because they're gonna talk about it forever. You're gonna remember it forever as well.
The birthday boy. Well, he threw for 247, 2 touchdowns with a 110 passer rating. It's not like, I guess it was hard to watch because the throws that Russell normally makes, he missed.
Yep.
It was hard to watch because for 6 straight drives starting the second half, they punted the ball and had, I believe, 40 total yards on 6 drives, 17 plays, 31 yards on 6 drives. And then defense make a big stop on the goal line. They get the ball back, and then Russell takes them down the length of the field for 10 plays, 96 yards in 2 minutes. You're like, man, what the hell y'all ain't been doing that all game? But again,
I tell you the reason why.
Tell me.
DK got shut out.
No, you see, I ain't believing that.
DK got shut out.
Let me give you an example.
Okay.
So the Seahawks don't have a run game, right? So they're between their running backs. Obviously, they're hurt. Their whole running back team is hurt. Both running backs, the 2 backup running backs, had 10 carries total. 10. You have no presence, right? So there's no need to drop an 8 defender in the box because you're not defending the run. So you stay too high and you take away the deep passes and you give your corners help. Here's what I'm saying. You look at the Rams and the Packers game, You got the best corner playing one of the best receivers, but how does Devontae walk out of that game with over 100 yards and 8 catches? Because his quarterback finds a way to get him the football.
Well,
that's what I'm saying needs to happen with Russell and DK. I'm not seeing that.
Well, but if you watch that game, Jalen wasn't on Devontae the whole game.
He wasn't on the whole game because they moved Devontae around.
Yeah.
DK plays one position. He plays the wide one. This is move him around.
It sounds like the offensive coordinator needs to get him more involved. Easy. Throw jet screen.
You take the words right out of my mouth.
Get the ball in the kid's hand.
Yep.
You know, they had an opportunity at the end of the game. Russ didn't see it. But he kind of led that receiver a little bit too long in the middle. But DK was open in the corner.
Yep.
If you would have held on a little bit longer and seen DK, he was wide open.
Yep. That was a good play.
But
that was a good
split
play.
decisions, man. We could sit here and talk about it all day. You know, it's a tough position playing quarterback, and to see those guys open or that window open for that split second, tenth of a second. You know, it's very critical. But we can sit here and watch it in slow motion all day and be like, man, he's wide open. He's wide open. Throw the ball. You know, so we just got to be mindful as fans. You know, sometimes, as perfect as it looks on TV, it don't always look that way in the game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, the Seahawks fall to the Washington football team, and now the Washington football team at 5-6. Think about this. At 5-6.
They're in the playoffs.
They're the number 7 playoff team. So that's what I'm saying. They're only 2 games back. Now, a lot needs to happen. I understand that. But 6 games remaining, 2 games back, man, there's a chance.
There's a chance. But you got 49ers this week. They're on the roll as well. They've been playing well the last 2 weeks. So it's definitely going to be a tough challenge for Seattle to try to step up and try to get in that final 7 seed spot. But we're going to talk about my Falcons. Enough for the Seahawks.
Dirty Birds. How those Dirty Birds do this week? I mean, they played in the toilet bowl game against Jacksonville.
Hey, we'll take it. We don't give a damn what game it is, right? A win is a win in this league.
Toilet bowl.
A win is a win.
Wow.
CP balled out, man. 16 carries, 108 yards, 2 TDs. Man, the kid was back. He was having fun. Missed him in the offense. You can tell there's a big difference when the kid is playing in the game and when he's not playing in the game.
Yeah.
Hats off to CP, player of the game. You did your thing, son.
135 total yards. He had a few receptions as well.
Yeah.
And looks like the Falcons squeezed one out in Jacksonville.
We squeezed one out. Hell, we was winning the whole game.
And you squeezed
10-0 at halftime, baby. We was controlling the whole game.
A 1 possession game, man. 1 possession.
I don't care how you see it. It's a win. We can win by 1 point. It's a win.
It is a win. Here's what I think: the Falcons made their money on Sunday. They went 3 for 3 in the red zone.
Hey, when you go 3 for 3, man, you guarantee the win. You guarantee
3 for 3 in the red zone.
You gotta make the most of it in the red zone. That's when it counts.
Any other surprises across the NFL in Week 12 that you had your eye on this past week?
Man, the Patriots.
Wow,
they are back.
Patriots are back.
I don't know what's wrong with Tennessee, but they need to get it together.
Well, you got the professor against the student.
Well, you know how that goes. That's like Saban against all his students. Saban always win, right? So now you got Belichick and his students. Man, it's just they just can't do it. They just can't do it.
Yeah,
he's the genius for a reason.
Put up 36 on a Vrabel's football team, and look, all of their players are hurt. They didn't have any receivers, I think, who have on the both. AJ was hurt. Julio was down. Obviously, no running game in D. Henry, but I think this was more about the Patriots and Mac Jones and Belichick figuring some things out. How these guys are still able to do it at this level now, controlling this AFC East. We talked about it last week. Who's going to win that AFC East? But this, I think it's the matchup.
It's definitely changing with momentum. You know how it is. December, you got to get on that win streak in December. Is this one that matters the most?
And we'll preview Week 13's games here in a second because that's who play on the Monday Night Football next week, the Bills and the Patriots. So that'll be a good matchup. Looking else across the NFL last week, I don't know. What do you think about those Cowboys? Are they pretenders or contenders? You a believer?
Oh man.
Here's a question: will the Cowboys win a playoff game? We anticipate the Cowboys will make the playoffs.
Yeah, they'll make the playoffs.
Will they win a playoff game?
Will they win a playoff game? I tell you, I look at it like this. If you can minimize the penalties that they had in the game, they have a chance to win. But the penalties keep shooting them in the foot, and obviously it cost them the game against the Raiders, who have been, up and down throughout the season. Cowboys should have won their game at home. Primetime game, Thanksgiving. Cowboys don't lose on Thanksgiving. So
we'll look at the Cowboys schedule. They've fallen 3 of the last 4, or they've lost 3 of the last 4. They got the Saints, the football team, the Giants, the football team, the Cardinals, and the Eagles. I can see them running 6-0 into the playoffs.
I don't know.
I think they can. Okay. Let's say they win 5 of the next 6.
Hey, Washington balling now. I think Washington might be the surprise that might come out of that division over there. I mean,
really?
they are playing some good football right now. Jack Del Rio has that defense playing lights out. I mean, they're not giving up many points. If you look at the average of the points they give up throughout their games, it's not many. It's not over 20.
Well, coming out of the bye, especially, now that's a 3-game win streak after their bye week. And so, yeah, you're absolutely right. The football team could be a scare pushing into December. I don't know. Well, we'll see what those Cowboys do. I know there's a lot of upset Cowboys fans right now. 6 games remaining, 2 against the football team. We'll see how Dak leads that team into the playoffs. If they're gonna limp into the playoffs, or if they're gonna roll in there cruising, winning maybe 5 or going 6-0 of their remaining football games. Tom Brady, how about those another NFC team? I know you hate talking about the NFC South if it's not the Falcons, but the Bucs had a nice matchup against the Colts, and Colts they've been a tough team as of late, and they squeezed one out. What do you think about Tom Brady and Leonard Fournette's 4-touchdown day?
Well, they knew they had to go to the run game, right? Against the Colts, who have an outstanding running back, and Jonathan Taylor, who's leading the league in rushing. They're controlling the clock. Well, Patriots figured out something. I mean, not the Patriots. The Bucs figured out something too. Well, we're gonna run the football too and keep it out your hands, right? So we control the game. Leonard Fournette had an outstanding game, balled out, did his thing. And they went into a tough environment against a great team and got a good win on the road.
Yeah, to me, there's a trend right now with running backs in the league. And, which I always go back to the Seahawks. They don't have a running back presence. Leonard Fournette rushed for 100 yards and, 3 touchdowns, and he caught 31 yards of passes and 1 touchdown in the air as well. 4 touchdowns. That's a huge day. Jonathan Taylor, he totaled, I think, 97 yards total offense and 83 yards rushing. Who's been on the roll? I mean, he's just been shredding defenses and running the ball. But the Bucs squeezed one out, and they moved to now 8-3.
Hey, what about your boy Gronk? Yeah, he balled up. 7 catches for 123 yards.
Just the thing about Gronk is like Gronk starts the season, he'll miss 6 games, and then he comes back ready for it. I'm telling you, man, he's just a fun character to watch. He's certainly good for the game. But yeah, Gronk, he and Brady, one of the best quarterback tight end duos in the history of the game, for sure.
Tag team,
for sure.
Tag team.
Well, let's move on and tell me what is your damn. Did you see that moment from week 12?
My damn, did you see that moment was Lamar Jackson throwing
You keep talking about Lamar. Come on.
4 picks. This kid threw 4 picks. I'm like, okay. One time he threw it right to the dude. I'm like, what the hell are you looking at?
Monster, you'd have been out there. You'd have caught one. He was handing them out like food stamps.
Thank you. Thank you. The DB's back there like, thank you. But how the hell does Cleveland Browns do not win the game?
Boy, look, they found a way to lose it. That's for sure.
The kid throw 4 picks. 4. Defense did their job. Defense did their job. Offense did. Look at it. Offense did not do their job. I mean, that was kind of a piss poor Sunday night game, if you ask me.
Yeah, that was bad on all fronts. But look, is it more about Lamar Jackson's 4 interceptions or the fact that the Baltimore Ravens still finding ways to win?
They still finding ways to win, even when it's bad. They still find ways to win. But if they plan against the Patriots and give up 4 interceptions, you can guarantee Belichick is going to take control over that.
Yeah, that's a hell of a defensive play right there by the safety. So, are the Ravens the real deal in the AFC, or is there someone else that we need to be thinking about? I mean, they're the top seed at 8-3. Are you a believer in the Ravens, or you think they'll fall out of that number 1 seed by the end of the year?
Man, honestly, the way the Patriots are rolling right now, man, it's tough for me to even sit here and say this, but I think the Patriots are going to come out, man. I think Matt Jones is having a rookie season, kind of like Matt Ryan did, that led us into the playoffs his first year in the NFL. Man, they're playing at a high level right now. And if Lamar plays like this in the playoffs, you know it's a guaranteed win for the other team. So if Lamar don't get this together, which is your top 5 quarterback, if he don't get it together by the playoffs, you can guarantee his chances of making it deep in the playoffs goodbye.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously you can't play like that late in the game, not in the playoff games, and still have a chance to win. Looking at the remaining schedule, I mean, they got a crappy division over there. You got the Pittsburgh. They're coming up against the Steelers. Those are tough football games, but the Steelers, the way they playing, you know, I see the Ravens beating them. Then they play the Browns again, this time in Cleveland. Green Bay, a tough matchup against Cincinnati, the Rams, and then they finish up against the Steelers. So looking at their last 6 games, you know, I can see them maybe breaking even, going 3-3. You know, that's a possibility, but they also could go 5-1 because of the divisional games that they have. And the only team that I see being a real scare for them is the Cincinnati Bengals.
Did you mention the Packers was on there?
Yeah, that's what. But they're home. See, if they're at Lambeau, I would lean more toward the Packers.
Green Bay can go anywhere, man.
They can.
Seen it early in the season when they went out to Arizona and beat Arizona when they're undefeated. So they have no fear of going into Baltimore and playing lights out like they have to.
Well,
long as Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback, Green Bay always has a shot.
Green Bay always got a chance.
We'll see how far he gets with that toe injury.
All right. Well, my damn, did you see that moment came from last night? And once again, I'm showing love to the big boys. Monster, you play in the trenches. You know how tough it is to block a field goal, especially an extra point. I know they move the kick point back. Look at number 3. Look at the kicker. Oh, blew a tie. Look at the big boy rolling. Rasheem Green pushes through the line, gets the block, and he looks up. He's like, oh, look what I got. He put it in 4-wheel drive, and you see the big dually just moving 70 yards down the field. Look at him. Look at him. Ooh,
scoop and score, baby. Scoop and score.
That was more like 86 yards. But look at number 3, the kicker. he blew a tie. Yeah, that ended. I think that nearly costed them the game because on fourth down,
it almost did because they couldn't kick a field goal.
Couldn't kick the field goal.
Couldn't kick a field goal.
Yep. So,
but that was huge, man. At that time of the game, Washington would have went up 10-7, and you got a blocked field goal, and you get 2 points out of it and tie the game up going into halftime. Man, that is major. That is major. I thought Seattle would have took that momentum into the second half and just gave it to Washington, but we've seen the outcome of what the offense is struggling in Seattle. But big shots out to the big guy.
To the big fellas. Monster, I figured you would love that, baby. Come on, baby. I'm showing love to the big guys.
That boy was wrong. He gave the punter a stiff arm.
Yeah. It was said that he reached a speed of 18 miles per hour on that run. The big boy in the dually. That's the double dually.
The double dually.
Rolling. Way to go, Rasheem Green. Let's look at a preview. This week's matchups, week 13. We hinted at one of the games. I know that many of the NFL will be watching. You got the Buffalo Bills and the Patriots in Buffalo on the Monday Night Football game.
Yeah,
that's one game I'll be watching for sure. Monster, which game are you looking forward and highlighting next week?
I'm looking at my Falcons.
Uh-oh.
We got a tough matchup against the Bucs at home. They're at home.
Okay. Tell me about it.
If we can control the clock, of the game, we have a chance of winning.
Control the clock. Keys to victory, control the clock.
We got to control the clock. We got to stop the run.
And stop Leonard Fournette.
That's it.
Keep Tom Brady on the sideline. Stop Leonard Fournette.
That's it. Control the clock. Stop the run.
Oh, that's simple.
It ain't that simple. If that was simple, shit, they'll win every game. It's a dogfight, especially in the divisional matchup. Somebody the likes of Tom Brady who just brings an energy that makes people want to play harder around him. Tom Brady can have an average game, but the kids that are around him, man, they play hard for him. And they know what it means to have somebody like that as a quarterback. So they know the importance of it. They experienced it last year. So they know it looking forward every game. You never know when it's going to be Tom Brady's last game. So you just got to go all out and enjoy the wave. And hopefully we can stop that wave next week. What are you looking forward to?
Yep, I mentioned the Monday Night Football game in Buffalo, but I'm also looking at the Sunday night game matchup in Arrowhead. They have a division opponent against the Broncos, and the reason I'm looking at that is because I think we want to find out who these Chiefs really are. I think they have the potential to go on a run. Of course, they're coming off of a bye week, so they had a little chance to get a little more healthy. And Andy Reid, he's one of the best at scheming and win percentage off of a bye week. But a tough matchup. They got back-to-back, 3 straight games against divisional opponents, the Broncos, the Raiders, and the Chargers. We're going to find out really if the Chiefs are really a contender, because they could be this sneaky team that looked very average in the beginning of the year that makes a late run, as they've been known to do in the past. So that's one matchup that I'll be watching for sure.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to be rolling, man. Coming off a bye week, you know how important it is to get your rest this late in the season, especially.
Too. Yeah, that's a win.
This is big for them. I feel them coming out with a lot of energy, and I feel like you're going to see the Chiefs that you've been seeing for the last few years. So I'm looking forward to the Chiefs being back to who they are and making a run for the playoffs and hey, possibly getting the top seed. Who knows?
Looking else across the NFC, the 49ers are coming to town. And, the 49ers, Coach Kyle Shanahan got them on the roll right now. We'll see if the 49ers are pretenders or contenders as well. They come to Seattle and get the victory.
Yeah, the 49ers and Deebo Samuels. Woo! that boy, he's a game changer. That's a thing.
Debo's a baller, but here,
Hey.
I think the Seahawks may dodge a bullet. I think Debo's out.
He's out?
He's out for a week or two.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's crucial. Well, we'll see how the Seahawks handle that. Hopefully they can get a win. They're on the 3-game losing streak.
Yeah, but who's counting?
Something Pete Carroll haven't experienced in a long time in Seattle. So
he's experienced it twice this season already.
Well, we talking about previous seasons.
Yep, and then another matchup. I know we don't talk much about the AFC teams, but you got the Bengals and the Chargers. That's another a good matchup. You got, two teams are fighting for position, 6-5, the Chargers, 7-4, Cincinnati. Cincinnati figuring some things out. I know this franchise has really been kind of down as of late. The last decade, hadn't won much in terms of, playoff conversation.
That's going to be a playoff matchup. It's going to be a playoff matchup.
They're in the playoff conversation.
Started the season off hot. They got a little cold over the last few weeks, but they starting to come back around now. And, you got a San Diego team that's, putting a few things together as well out there. And, I just ultimately think that this is going to be a playoff atmosphere game, that's for sure.
Well, the old San Diego Chargers, the new LA Chargers.
Man, we got to talk about Green Bay and the Rams.
Tell me about it.
Are you impressed with the Rams?
You want to talk about the Rams? Let's see what the Rams. So the Rams home against Jacksonville this week. I think that the tale is which Matthew Stafford will show up in prime time. I mean, the primetime games as of late, they lost to Green Bay. They had the primetime game against the 49ers and then the Titans, 3-game losing streak for the Rams.
3-game losing streak. Now, Sean McVay is probably losing his hair right now.
Yep. And, they got Jacksonville this week and then 3 divisional games of the remaining 6. So they play another sweep across the NFC West, Arizona, Seattle, and then the 49ers to wrap up. And they got Baltimore on the schedule and the Vikings. So you got a lot of teams that's playing for playoff positions. The Rams fool around and not make the playoffs. What do you think the likeliness of that?
Oh, that whole team is going to blow up. See, the Rams right now, like we said earlier, they got all their chips stacked in the middle of the table. Acquisitions of OBJ, one to go to LA. You got Von Miller that got traded to go to LA.
They all in.
Okay, OBJ got his first touchdown this past weekend, which was, outstanding for him. It was deep throw, big play in the game. But, man, I haven't seen too much of Von Miller. We need Von Miller to come alive, showcase his talent. That front four has to get after the quarterback more. Yeah, you can't have your DBs running all the way around the field, especially against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Von Miller, I saw did get a hit on the quarterback.
Personal foul, roughing the passer.
He got a TFL as well, 5 tackles. 3 weeks there, 2 games. They had a bye week in there somewhere as well. So we'll see what the tale is on the Rams. They got a tough schedule to finish the season, but they play Jacksonville this week, so a great opportunity to get back on track. We'll see. Which real Rams team will show up in the final stretch and which quarterback Matthew Stafford can perform under pressure. Always fun to watch. Always fun to talk about.
Hey, Cam got benched, man.
You surprised? You surprised?
Am I surprised? No. I'm not surprised because at this point in the season, Carolina is trying to do any and everything that they can, to get a push for the playoffs. But you got McCaffrey going down for the season with an ankle injury. He's done. So the chances of Carolina making the playoffs has gone down tremendously. They were hoping to bring Cam in and bring more energy to the football team, which it did. But Cam got to play his best. You know, Cam had 2 picks in the game. You know, he didn't play his best. He owned it. You know, he took it like a man on the chin as far as getting benched in the game. You know, hopefully he can show something at practice this week and come back out and have another good outing.
There's one thing about this sport, one thing about life, but particularly about the NFL. It's a humbling game. It's a humbling game. Cam, you know, came in, he's balling. I'm back, Superman, middle of the field. Ron Rivera, this is my field. All of that hoorah stuff. And then the next week, you go down to Miami. You play a Miami. Something happening in Miami right now. I don't know what's happening, but they're on a 4-game win streak. So you running down in Miami facing this team, thinking that you're just going to beat them, and they're going to roll over.
They thinking they running into Jacksonville, huh?
I'm telling you, see what I'm saying? This Miami team, I don't know how they're doing it.
Brian got them kids balling, man. He got them balling.
They figuring some things out. So congratulations to the Miami Dolphins on a 4-game win streak. I think after losing 7 or 8 in a row.
Wow.
So they're doing something. They're doing something good down in Miami, and they could be in a 5-game win streak because they got the Giants this week and then a bye. We'll see. We'll see how the Dolphins finish the season, but there's a pretty soft schedule for them to finish the regular season. What else you got? I think that's all of the headlines in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You got some.
We can talk about college for a second, even though we don't really talk about it. But you know, we got a lot of head coaches that are moving around.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of speculations out there about
Lincoln Riley going to USC.
Lincoln Riley going to USC. But
no speculation. It's happening, man. They broke the bank for them.
But listen, Oklahoma is going to the SEC next year. So do you think Lincoln Riley ran from the SEC to go play in the Pac-12 to have a better chance of making the playoffs?
Well, you tell me this.
Or do you think
if I give you 24 access to the private jet, if I buy both of your houses $500,000 over asking price, and I'm going to buy you a new house in LA on top of your salary, does that sound enticing enough to you to leave Oklahoma to go to LA?
Hell yeah, I do.
Man, I'm gone.
I'm getting out that country.
I'm gone.
I ain't gonna stay in no country ass Oklahoma. I'm gone.
Man.
I'm going to the big life, big dreams.
I'm gone. Yeah. No, that's look, that just shows the value. One, it shows you how much money is in college sports. Right. And so now we're figuring out this name, image, and likeness deal so players can now have an opportunity to monetize their skills at that level. But it shows how much money is in the college sport. And then 2, it almost acts like as a no-brainer, right? You got Lincoln Riley, who's trying to decipher and create his own pedigree and profile in college sports. And if he goes and have the same success in the Pac-12 as he did in Oklahoma, he could solidify a lot of himself as one of the top coaches in NCAA. I think it's a no-brainer.
Brian Kelly on the LSU.
Brian Kelly to LSU. That's a pressure job. You got 3 years. You got 3 years.
But guess what? His money is guaranteed.
Money good. Look, money good.
Money good. Money good.
Here's something to ponder. How about prime time and what he did down in Jackson State and the SWAC and bringing this championship mindset, this winning attitude to Jackson State. They went undefeated in the SWAC. I think they may have only lost 1 game of the season. and Deion is Coach of the Year.
Coach of the Year, baby. Man, that
could Oklahoma tap Deion on the shoulder?
I think they will, but I don't think Deion is going to move on it, because I think for Deion, it's more something bigger than money. You know, it's more of setting the foundation for these young men to have more success on the field and off the field. You know, give these kids a chance to believe in themselves and to think like, hey, you don't have to go to a big time university to be successful.
Or go to a big time university to be looked at and scouted by the NFL. I think you're absolutely right. One of the bigger things too is that he's given Black kids a chance to have an opportunity to fulfill their dreams. He's changing what I think is a generational mindset that have been ingrained either through experiences, through times of segregation or separation of resources from these big colleges to these young universities, and you have these Black colleges who really don't have the budget as these big schools. But primetime changed that. You see Eddie George as well. They're changing that narrative right now, and I think it's huge for what they're doing for HBCUs, and hopefully Deion is there for the long term. And again, his kids are there, so I think he's at least there until his kids are done with their college career. So congratulations, Primetime, on being the SWAC Coach of the Year, and really for changing the narrative of HBCUs and giving these kids an opportunity at fulfilling their dreams and getting the resources that these Black schools and small colleges have been lacking for so long. So that's phenomenal.
Great job, Coach. Great job.
That's it for us from the West Coast, Best Coast. We out.
On the east side, baby. On the east side.
We'll see you next week. Peace.